Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome again to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you again to make a really cute little album using a card kit. This is the Simple Stories Just Chicken In card kit. It's going to turn out really cute. Stay tuned. Okay, so I've already made a couple of these little albums out of card kits. I have a tutorial here on my channel for this one. This was made out of a Christmas card kit collection from last year called, I forgot, Holiday Hello, I believe it was, by Simple Stories. Turned out really cute. There's a showcase video and a tutorial on this one here. This is going to be made similar. I may change up the pages a bit, but this is what we're going to be making. So I've made this one already, and then out of a prototype I made this junk journal, and I have a show and tell video on this one on my channel, so check that out. So let's go over the supplies, what we're going to use for this album. So this one, from my design team package, I chose the Simple card kit called Just Chicken In. It is an adorable farm type collection. If you know me, you know I'm a farm girl. I was raised on a farm, and this is just right up my alley. I love all these little images of the animals, especially the pig and the cow and the chicken. Well, I love it all. And it is adorable with the barn and the tractor. So if you haven't seen that, I did get this recently in a design team package. I will check online at Country Craft Creations to see if it's still available, and put a clickable link for you down below in my description. To find the description under my videos, a lot of the title and stuff, and you'll see a little place where it'll say more. Just click on that more, and then it'll open up the whole thing where you can see my links and description of what this video is about and all that legal stuff and things where you can find me, the links to my Facebook group and Instagram and all that. So anyway, this is the kit that we're going to use. If this is not available, there's always card kits by Simple Stories that are just great, and you'll want to check that out. So it comes with this cover sheet of course, and it makes 8 cards. So we're going to be making a 4-page album, and then I'll give us extra card bases for some other elements that we need to make in there. Of course, if you're making cards, it does come with the card instructions, but I'm not going to be making cards, so I don't need that. You could keep this for later on if you wanted to. I'm just set mine aside. Let's take it out and see what we've got here. So in this kit, you do get, let's fold that back out of my way, you do get the chipboard elements. So this is what makes it really a lot of fun to make an album. You get all these great little elements, and I'll just punch all those out. Of course, you get your 8 card bases. These are already pre-cut for you and scored. So like I said, we're going to make our pages out of 4 of these. We're going to add some hinges, and we're just going to have a lot of fun making an album instead of a cards. So if you're an album maker, this should be right up your alley. Did I already say that phrase? I think I already did. But anyway, so I don't know why it has a double cover thing in here, but anyway, I like to keep this because I like to look at the layout. I just think they're really cute, and one of these could be my album cover. I'm leaning toward this one with the pig and the sunflowers. I really think that's adorable. So I'm thinking that's what I may do as far as element arrangement for my cover. That's not locked in stone yet, but that's a great possibility. So keep that. We've got, for some reason I got 2 of these in this package. Anyway, we can keep that so we can have that to look at. So in this kit, you do get these card fronts, and you just punch them out. These make great elements for your album pages, some decorative paper. There's not enough for the whole album, of course, but there is a lot. You do a little layering and everything, and then you also get these elements here you punch out. So because this was a newer collection, I was able to also order some single sheets of 12 by 12 paper to go with this to help pattern that. So I went through and chose like 2 of, I picked the journal elements because I like the journal, but then I also like that blue paper there. And then I picked out the tag ones. I just got one. Didn't think I need more than one tag sheet. I got 2 of the Rise and Shine, which is the pink there on the back and the sunflowers there. I love that. I got 2 of the Feed and Seed. I've already used one because I'm going to show you. Just hang on there just a second. I've already made my album base, and I will link a video for you to follow on how to make the lay flat album. So I got 2 of this one here. I've already used 1 sheet, but then I've also cut up and used both sheets of the County Fair because of that blue there on the back and this quilt pattern. So that's what I chose for the album cover and the spine, and then there on the inside, and then I used that other piece there. So that's what I did. This is my album cover ready to go. I'm going to start making my pages. And also, you're going to want 1 8.5 by 11 sheets. All you really need is the heavyweight chipboard to make that cover. And like I said, I'll link the video on how to make your cover. I picked up several yards of this, I think that's goldenrod yellow, and then this real pretty blue, because I think those are the colors that are in there. See that blue and that. And then I also got the homegrown Simple Stories enamel dots. I love to decorate with enamel dots. So these are going to go up in my little tray up on my shelf here, ready to decorate with, as well as all these elements. I'll probably punch those out. So let's get started on making our pages. Before we do our pages, first you're going to need to make your cover. I already have mine made. So you're going to need, from that 8.5 by 11 piece of heavy chipboard, you're going to cut 2 pieces of cardstock that are 4.5 by 6. And for your spine, you need one that's 2 1/8 by 6. So that's the measurements you need for the cover. For your patterned cardstock, because I didn't use cardstock, you can do whichever you want. You can use cardstock or the patterned paper. To wrap the covers, you need 2 that are 6.5 by 8, and then you need one that's 5 1/8 by 8 for the spine. Then for your inside piece here, you're going to need one that's about 6 3/4 by 6, and then a piece of score tape sheet. I forgot to show you that in the supplies, but a piece of score tape sheet that is also the same size, 6 3/4 by 6. Then for these little inside panels here, you cut them how you want them to fit. I cut mine at 4 1/4 by just about 6, just under 6. So you put those 2 pieces on. So if you have not made a lay flat album cover and you need step-by-step tutorial, you can either follow Tammy's, tongue-tied, follow Tammy's with Country Craft Creations, who designed this method, or I will link up above in the corner my tutorial on how to make an album cover in the lay flat method. So once you have that, then come back and then we'll start on these pages. So we're going to need 4 of the card bases. These are nice, thick. If you don't have card bases, if you're not using a card kit, you would of course cut your paper, your cardstock, to the 8.5 by 5.5. Score your 8.5 inch side at 4 1/4, so that you end up having a page piece that is 4 1/4 by 5.5, which is the size of an A2 card. So you need 4 of these. So I have 4 there. These 4 I'm going to set aside because I'm going to use them later for my flaps and different elements. So I need patterned paper for my hinges, and I have this scrap left here. I think that I'm going to use that, and you're going to cut, for hinges, you cut out cardstock or patterned paper. I'm going to use patterned paper, and I'm going to cut 3 of these, 1 3/8 by 5.5. I'm going to cut those, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I took my scrap of paper, and I cut 3 pieces, again, for hinges that are 1 3/8 wide by 5.5 tall. And we're going to score these in half. So you're going to put this in with your 1 3/8 side at the top of your trimmer, whichever trimmer you're using, and you're going to score at a 1/2 inch. So you're going to score at a 1/2 inch, I have to check my notes because I'm putting a space in there. And then you're going to turn it and you're going to score at a 1/2 inch again on the 1 3/8 side. So what we have here for this hinge, I've made this before a couple of times and I've slept since then. I'd already forgotten exactly what I've done. We're going to have a hinge that looks like that. We're going to have 3 of these. So you take all of them, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch on each side on your 1 3/8 sides. Just turn and score section. And then you're just going to fold that on the score line so that you have a hinge that looks like that. We need 3 of those. We've got 1 more to do. 1/2 inch, turn, and 1/2 inch. Okay, so I can put my scoring board away for right now to give me plenty of room. I put my mat out because I'm really messy with glue, and I want to make sure that I don't get my table all gunked up or I get stuff on it all the time. So fold these and burnish. Now I'm folding it so that it goes the way. This is what's going to show in here. If you wanted it to be the other way, you could, whichever pattern you want. Let me see which one I like better. The pages are going to go on it. So this would be like that, or we could put it so that it matches. And I think I'm going to go with the blue. Okay, no particular reason, it's just a personal preference. So burnish all the score lines to the same direction so you have like a wing hinge that sticks up like that. Sometimes some people call this like stack the deck, except these are not going to be stacked together. So they look similar to that. Okay. All right, now take your card bases that are already scored for you if you're using the Simple Stories card kit, or if you cut your own and you have scored them in half. So you end up with a 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall double page like this. Go ahead and give them a good burnish on the fold line. Okay, now we're going to be ready to put these together. On your first page here, you have your fold to the left and the opening to the right. We're going to turn it so that the fold is to my right, and this is the back side. Now take your first hinge, flatten it down so that you see just this first 1/2 inch on the back side. Put your glue on that, all over that 1/2 inch. Now then you're going to take the fold of this hinge and put it with the fold of your page. Okay, line them up so that they're even on the edges. Flip it back and burnish right here. So now we have the page here, we have a hinge, a space, and then we have a hinge left for the next page that we're going to attach. So once you have that attached, just burnish it down. That leaves the space, and then the hinge part here, we're going to flatten this down. Put your glue on the back of the hinge. Take your next page, the fold of the page of the card goes along the fold of the card, just like this. Okay, and burnish that down. And we have, it looks like this, kind of like a waterfall almost effect with a double waterfall. So we have this, looks like this. You have single, you have a space, and you have a single. And that's what you're wanting right there. Now that you have your first 2 together, you have a card base, a space, a card base. So we flip it like this. We have the fold here. We're going to attach the next hinge. Let me grab this, because I've done one off camera. Attach glue to your hinge. Okay. Attach the fold to the fold of this card. This would be your second one. Line them up nice and even. Burnish that. Then grab your third page, flatten down that hinge, put glue on the hinge, on the back side of it. Grab your third page, attach it down, just like that. Burnish it. Wipe off any excess glue. Okay, so now we have 3 together. We have, when we stand these back up, we have the front card base, the space, second card base, a space, and our third card base. So go ahead and put your fourth one, final one, on the exact same way. So once you have all your card bases onto the hinge, the 3 hinges, it should look like this. This is the exact same way that I made the Christmas album and the junk journal album. So you have a card base, a space, a card base, space, a card base, space, and a card base. So now back here on the back, we have these 3 hinges. And I took another scrap and I cut this down. I could have cut it down to 1.5 inches, but I wanted to make sure it didn't go overlap. So I made mine 1 1/4 inches wide by the 5.5 tall. And I'm going to put glue all on the back side of this piece. This is just going to be a support piece to these hinges to keep them all together nice and flat for when we put this in the book. Okay? So I'll show you just a second here how it goes together if you haven't watched the other video. So over this, where the hinges join together in the center of this, line this up over it. Doesn't have to be perfect as long as it's not sticking out the sides here. And go ahead and burnish that on. What that does is it just gives them that support they need. I'm going to burnish from the inside on all of them to make sure it's sticking down good. Go on all 3. So now that is solid there. You can see the definite hinge there. So when we go to put it in our book, it will be easy to glue it in just like that. Okay, so you could go ahead and put this in your book if you wanted to now and then build up your pockets and flaps, but I think I'm going to again do mine outside of the cover just to make it a little bit easy. So I'm going to take a minute, look this over, see if I want to make any changes on the flaps that I did last time in the pockets, and adapt it for the paper collection I'm working with this time. I'm going to do the flaps just a little bit different in this one. So I took 2 of the card bases and I cut them in half at 4 1/4. So I have 4 pieces now of the cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I'm going to take each one, take my bone folder, and I'm going to put this in the trimmer, and I'm going to score each 4 1/4 on the 4 1/4 side. I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to do that on all 4 of these, and then we're going to put them into the book. So put your 4 1/4 in at the top, score at a 1/2 inch. Do that on all 4. And remember, let me show you just a second here. If you're using your bigger scoreboard, you would put the 4 1/4 in at the top, score at a 1/2 inch here on your left side, and does the same thing. So you have the 1/2 inch there. So I just want to show you that in case you're not using the same kind of scoreboard that I am. So let's go ahead and move this out of the way. And then we're going to fold and burnish all 4 so that we have a 1/2 inch hinge to attach it into our apple pages. Now with this one, we're going to put our pattern paper on before we actually add any pockets, because I found with the last one it just makes it a whole lot easier. So now we're looking at this. We're going to open this up. I'm not going to put a flap in these single ones. I like them just like a double page spread. So this one here that has the space, you can put it on either side that you want. Like you can put one on the left and you can put one on the right. We can actually make it double if we want. I kind of like that. That means we may cut some extras. Okay, let's do that. You can do this actually any way, any layout design that you like. So I'm going to put glue on my 1/2 inch, back side of my 1/2 inch here. And then I'm going to grab my book and I'm going to line up this fold of this to the edge of the page. In the other book, you know, if you had a flap and then it folded inside itself. These are just going to be single flaps. I'll give you that option. Just like that. And then we can put one over here. Just make sure it's lining up nice and straight. Fold along the edge there. Open this up this way so I can burnish. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to close these in. Then we have the single double page here. We're going to leave that. This one, I think I'm just going to do a single flap, and I'm going to put it on the right. Like this. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to keep one of those card bases to use for pockets. So we're going to line this up. I'm going to take one of those and make it into some more flaps. So bear with me real quick. Okay, burnish that. This is your single, this is your double. I'm going to skip this. This is where I'm going to put double flaps. You got your single. Is that right? Maybe I only need. Let's see what we did. Singles, double flaps, single flap, and another single flap. So if I want to cut, I'm going to cut one of these in half, and I'll make a double flap in my page here. So we only have 3 of these doubles. I know what I'm doing, guys. Hang on there. So put your glue on this one. We'll have just a single flap in the center and then double flaps on the front page and the last page, so to speak. So line that up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this one in half real quick, and then I'll score it and then I'll put it here on this page. So what I did is I took another card base, cut it in half at 4 1/4. So I have a 4 1/4 piece and I still have a whole card base right here for pockets. I scored this one on the 4 1/4 side at a 1/2 inch, burnished that. And this is the one that I'm going to put here opposite this one right here. So I'll show you just a second what all we have in here so far. Right here, line it up. Okay, and burnish. Okay, pull that up. So let me show you. Here are our pages with their hinges. So when we open this, we have a single double page. We open this, the one with the hinge has a flap to the left and a flap to the right, okay? Then we turn it, we have a double single page here. We open this where we have the hinge space, we have one here. I think I may want to do another one. I'm kind of crazy. Still will have one card base for my hard. So let's do that. And then I'll go over it with you again. So put your 4 1/4 in there at the top. Let's score it at 1/2. Okay. There's no rhyme or reason for this. This is just, I decided I wanted to do this. So we get this one ready. So we're going to put this one here. So we're going to have double flaps on all 3. Put your glue on. Sorry if this is confusing. Okay. We'll burnish that down. There we go. Now then, let me review it again with you. Got our pages. We open it up. We have this double singles here where we have our 1/2 inch space. We have 2 double flaps. Okay. We turn the page. We have 2 double singles here. Turn it. We have the hinge. We have doubles. We turn it. We have single page. We turn it with the hinge. We have doubles. And then on the last, we have the single page. And those are our pages. So we still have 1 card base left that we can make pockets with. Okay. So before we do any pockets, we're going to start cutting pattern paper for this. And since I don't know where my pockets are going to be yet, I have something stuck in there. I may just go ahead and pattern the whole thing, each page, and then go back and add pockets. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my papers cut. So for a solid page here, you're going to want to cut your pattern paper. Depending on your border, I like to have 1/16 of an inch all the way around, which means I cut mine 1/8 of an inch smaller. So where this is 4 1/4, it's going to be 4 1/8 wide by, instead of 5 1/2, it's going to be 5 3/8. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 tall. Pay attention to the directions of your pattern papers. You don't want anything sideways or mixed up. So I'm going to cut all my papers, then I'll come back before I glue them in and show you what I've cut. So before I started cutting into my full sheets of 12 by 12 paper, I went ahead and punched out all the card front bases and all the little elements here you see that I have punched out. These are great. These are going to work for borders or belly bands. Maybe you want to make them into some of your pockets. So first thing I want to do is, before I start gluing anything down, and you will notice these are the size, the exact size of the pages. So these are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. If you want to trim them down a little bit, you can. Or if you're okay with it covering the entire section, then you don't have to do anything. I might trim it down just a tiny bit so it doesn't hinder in any folding. But I wanted to pick out one for my cover that I definitely want to use. And I think I really like that chicken wire with the green. And if I do that, see, I don't know, that's super cute. And then the chickens, do I do pigs or chickens? I like so many decisions that you have to make. So like, got those sunflowers. I know there's chickens in here somewhere, so I'll have to pull them out, go through. There's a chicken coop. It's really cute. See, that could be something to play with. But I know I want this piece of paper for my album cover. So I'm going to just tuck that in here, lay it aside so I don't mess with it. Now that I'm going to go ahead, like I said in the last little bit of clip, and cut my papers that I'm going to need. And remember, your flaps here are smaller, so those are going to be the same height, the 5 3/8 high if you want that little border around it. But you're going to need to cut these down to about 3 5/8. So I'm going to do that off camera, get these all cut, decide what I want to put with what, grab some of my paper clips here, clip them onto the areas before I start gluing down so I can move them around if I want to, and I'll be back and show you what I've cut down and picked out. I have all the pattern papers cut for the pages. Before putting in pockets, I'm just going to go ahead and do solid patterning of the papers and then I'll add my pockets in after I've done that. So I will do this gluing down off camera, but I just wanted to flip through and show you. So like this was from the card kit. This is cut from the paper. This is cut from the paper, but this is cut. This is from a mat from the card kit. And just flip through papers. That was the card kit there. This is from the card kit, and so is this green one piece here, the mat. And those papers. I think, yeah, this is from the card kit. And these are some papers here that are just cut down, the 12 by 12 papers. And that's from the 12 by 12. And this was from the card kit. So that's, I have it all paper clipped in. I'm going to go ahead off camera, glue everything on. Before you glue it down, if you want ink any of the edges, I am not going to do any inking on this one. And I'm going to go ahead and glue everything down, and then I'll come back and we'll start adding in some pockets. Okay, so I've got all my pattern papers glued on all the pages and the flaps. So now we're ready to add some things to it, like pockets and stuff. So I have been, I had a half sheet of this paper here left, and I thought, let's see if this one we could do a little waterfall. So I cut 6 pieces that are 3 1/4 wide by 3 3/4 tall. What you want to do is you want to score your 3 3/4 side at a 1/2 inch. Now that's going to make the attachment flap. I've already done 4. I don't know if I'm going to need all 6 or not yet. And I'm going to put it on the back page here where this Red Barn paper is. Of course, yours is probably going to be different. And I'm just trying to decide. I think I want to stub punch maybe the bottom corners. I think. So this is just going to be pattern paper waterfalls. So I'm just going to stub the 2 bottom corners of each one. So I'm starting out with 4. And what I'm doing is I'm flipping it, you know, front side and then the other side, you know, alternating it to kind of give it a little different look. Because normally you do your waterfalls, you pattern them with all different papers, or do that seam, you know, continuous seam. But I'm going to do it this way. And so we have the alternating papers, and I think that's going to look pretty. And I think this is my favorite paper, I don't know, in this whole little collection. So anyway, this is going to fit, and I'm going to start it at the top. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to put my glue on my, oops, already dried there. Put my glue right here on the back side of my 1/2 inch flap, okay? And then we're going to line this up right along the cut edge of the pattern paper and center it. So it looks like about, what, a 1/2 inch on each side. And burnish that down. Get my paper here because I'm going to have glue coming out, I know. Okay, so burnish that. So when you flip that up, this is your traditional older way of doing a waterfall. So this is going to fit right there. So glue on this one. We're using 2 patterns, so this would be the second pattern. I'm just going to turn it so I can see it a little bit better. And we're going to line it up side to side. Fold against the bottom edge there. Fold this down, see how it looks. And burnish. Yeah, it's going to have these upside down, but you know what? I'm okay with that, and I may put, you know, if you put a picture there, it's not going to matter. Some of the flowers are upside down when you flip up, but that's okay because they're the right side this way. So we take another one. And let's line it up. Get your glue wiped off if you have any that oozes out. Just making sure everything kind of lines up here. And the next pink one. Just go right there. And then the extra one I did. So I've already got 4 on there, so I still have room for at least one more. That's 5. Maybe, oh, you know what? I forgot to punch. Let me punch this one. I did the other, but this one I didn't. Glad I caught that. Could do it with it glued down, but it's easier once you, if you do it before you put everything down. Okay, so then line this up, and then we'll see how it looks. I think that's going to be all that we can put in there. So I've got an extra piece of paper over here, but that's okay. We can use that as a photo mat or on one of our pockets, or you know what? I'm going to trim it down and put it down here, I think, maybe. Let's see how that looks. Because that, you know, you would have a place for a photo there. And also, I think we're going to need to make us a little closure piece with this. So, didn't think about that. I like how that looks. I like the colors of that. So, we're going to need a little tuck spot here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this down. Let's make it 2 3/4. 2 3/4. Let me do that real quick over here on the side. And that glues right there. Now we could do it upside down. Let me see. Let's go ahead and do the pink. Stub the corner. And put glue on all of this. Butt it up. Now if you don't like that seam there, what we can do is take one of these little pieces maybe. I was thinking about using this for my closure piece. Let's see how I like that. I like this yellow. Oh, I like that, the whiter one. Okay. I'm going to trim this down just a bit, and I'll tell you how much, what length it is. So it is about 5 inches. I'm going to stub punch the top here, and I'm going to score the bottom just a little bit, about 1/4 inch. Okay. Now I could have put this on before I put the pattern paper, the matte one, but that's okay. So we burnish that, we got that folded. So this is going to fit here at the bottom. There. And then it's going to come to the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue right here on this little piece. And I'm going to just kind of center it to the bottom of the page here. Finish it down. And it is white in here. It's unfinished, but I think that's okay. That's going to come up like that. Now you're going to want to have something to hold it down. So we're going to use a little magnet, and I'm going to use a small set. These are the basic grades you can get from Country Craft Creations. So I've got a plus and a minus that are stuck together. I'm taking the backing off of one, and I'm going to put it right here in the center. Take my backing off of it, and then close up my closure like that. Now we have that. Now we're going to have to cover our magnets, okay? So let's see what we've got. Open this piece here. So we need probably need about 4.5 by, let's go with 1 3/8. 1 3/8. 5.5 by 1 3/8. Let's see what kind of scrap I've got. Got the same paper, 5.5 by 1 3/8. So this comes down. I'll cut it longer. What was I talking about? Oh, 4.5, not 5.5, 4.5. Okay. So that's going to go here. Let's turn these flowers the right direction. We're going to stub the bottom 2 corners. And then that's going to glue over the magnet right here. Put some glue on my magnet. And it's going to glue right over that with a white border, and that's fine. Now, if you don't like that white piece there, if yours has white there, you could certainly cut a little strip of paper and cover that up. But I think it looks fine. Just like that. Now then we need to cover the magnet that's on the front here. So let's look at some of my elements that I have. I have a pickle jar, but I don't think I want a pickle jar. Could do another flower. Oops, can't even pick it up. Okay. Like that, could cover it up. Use the sunflowers. What kind of animals we have. We're just checking in. Yeah, I wasn't going to use these sayings that much because they're more for cards, so I'll probably be using those on something else. Let's look at that. No. I think I like flowers better. Or a butterfly. Will that cover enough? Just about. Let's do that butterfly because that just kind of blends in. So I'm going to put glue on the magnet. I know it's a real small piece here I'm covering it with, but I think it's going to be fine. It's going to work. We'll put plenty of glue on this butterfly. And then we'll just, whoops, make sure you go in the right direction. And stick him on the magnet and then press it down really good. Yeah, I think the butterfly is cute on there, and then that just closes up. And then we can decorate this later with something else. So that is our little waterfall on our back page. So now we're ready for some pockets. So let me look at my last card base that we have, and we'll make some pockets for a few of these pages, and then I'll be doing my decorating off camera. So I took my last card base and cut it down to 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5.5. So I have 2 of those. And then for this first pocket, I cut it down to, it's the 4 1/4 by 2 inches tall. And I'm going to score on the 2-inch side at a 1/2 inch. Turn it and score at a 1/2 inch on your 4 1/4 inch side. It's going to make smaller pockets, smaller than the actual page, and a 1/2 inch on the other end. So you have 3 1/2 inch on your pocket. Take your scissors where the lines intersect, cut at an angle there to miter that for your pocket. Okay, and then fold your score lines. Okay, just like that. That makes a little tuck spot pocket. Now I cut it down to this size because a piece of paper here. This green strip from this green barn strip will fit in that height there, and I just need to trim it down. to a width of about just under 3 1/4. And that's going to mat on the top of this. And I am going to leave them straight pockets for this. I'm not going to do any notching on these. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on the back of this. And then I'm going to put the pocket in. So you can make pockets different sizes this way that will go on top of your pattern paper. And it doesn't have to be the width of the page. I thought that would be better than trying to make it fit in the page. So I'm going to take my little book, my album, and open it up. This is the first page. I'm going to put a pocket here on this page. I'm going to put it down here at the bottom that it will hold some of those tags. So I'm putting glue on all 3 of my 1/2 inch attachment tabs back here on the back. And just set this down right here, center it kind of about 1/4 inch from the bottom. That makes it about 1/2 inch from side to side. And I'm going to burnish that down. So it gives it a pocket with a little bit of depth, more than just a flat one. If you want a flat pocket, you could do that too. So like now we have a pocket that several tags can go inside. So we have, remember we have these little tags on this sheet here. I'm going to cut some of these up. They're so cute. The tops of them and the backs. Look at that. Adorable. Those are going to go inside those pockets. So I'm going to make some more pockets. I don't want one on this one. I have a mat here. We could do like a side pocket here. I do like side pockets. Let's see what kind of paper we have that we should use. Like that. That works. You have to trim that down a little bit. So that means we're going to take, now do we want this to be a flat pocket or just have the hinge on the bottom? I think I'm just going to put the hinge on the bottom. So this piece of paper is 2 1/2. So we want a 2 1/2 inch pocket thereabouts. So for this paper, we need to take, to make this a vertical pocket. And I'm going to leave it flat on the sides. I'm not going to do the fold. I'm just going to have the 1/2 inch. So this is 2 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece down to 2 3/4. So let me cut that real quick. 2 3/4. So I can have enough to score it, okay? 2 3/4, and then for the height of this vertical pocket is going to be, let's do 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 on the cardstock, and also on my pattern paper here, my little piece from the card kit. I'm cutting it down to 5 1/4 too. So just cuts off about 1/4 inch. So then we take this and we're going to put this 2 3/4 in at the top. We're going to score it 1/2 inch right there. And we'll fold that and burnish it. And then if you want, so that nothing's hanging over, go ahead and do a little angle cut from the score line into that 1/2 inch section. Just a little bit there. You see how my paper looks on it. So I want this little border out like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. And again, I'm not cutting any notches or anything on that. Let's add the pattern paper to the pocket. So this fits from the fold. Just a little bit of white showing top and bottom side. Okay, so there's that. This is going to be a pocket. Now you're going to put glue on the short sides here. And then fold down that 1/2 inch tab and put that on the back side of it. Put the glue on there. Okay, So then we're going to take the book and we're going to put it on this fold side of this flap here, right here. And it should fit right along the edge, just a little bit of a margin showing on each side because I didn't make it go all the way. And then you burnish this down and your sides, of course, to seal that off. And then we have a little pocket here on the side where we can add in some of those tags. Just make sure your sides get stuck down good. Okay, so there's that pocket. And I have a little bit left. We'll put in maybe 1 or 2 more tuck spots or pockets in our pages before I start decorating. Okay, so I have these 2 pieces I cut down to 5.5 tall by 3.5 wide. They're both the same size. And I thought I'd make a little envelope pocket type thing. So this is going to be my, I think, top side, and I'm going to score at, I'm going to score at 1.5 on this one. So this will fold, I fold right 1.5, yeah. Okay, fold right there. There's my fold on that. And then this one I'm going to, from the bottom edge, I'm going to do, let's do 2.5, let's do 2. 2 will work. Let's do 2 inches, and that's going to fold up. You can fold it either direction. Let's see, I'm going to fold it this way with the green. Okay, so we got that like that. And now we're going to notch this one because we want it to look a little different. So grab my 1-inch circle punch, and this is the way it's going to go here. So I'm going to punch it in the center. Okay, and we're not gluing the sides or anything. This is going to glue in here. I may not have made it quite long enough. Yeah. Let's see, do I have any more paper? No. So I messed up my height here. Put it, let this come over this. So I'm going to cut this down real quick. Let me switch this over so we can do the cutting right here on camera. So this is something I wasn't planning. I'm just working with some scraps. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. Took off about, what, 1.25 inches. So that this is going to fit like this to make a little envelope. So this one's going to be cut also. At about 1 inch off. I'm going to cut off 1 inch from the bottom of this one right here. Okay, sorry about that. Now this one we need to stub the corners of the little flap. Okay, then this glues here. Now the glue, pay attention, see where my notch is? This is going to make, this is what I had upside down. Okay, yeah, this is the way I wanted it. Okay, we're going to put the glue on the back side, just on the short sides, across where the fold is, and on this other short side. So we have our notch like this. I know I probably confused you. And then I'm going to line this up at the bottom, right there. Because we have a little pocket inside with the notch. And then we have this coming down over it. Make sure I straighten it out. Okay, so this one needs trim just a little bit. Kind of got them off. Okay, now this one, I'm going to round the corners. Do a 1/4 inch right here. I bet I've got you all confused on this. So this comes up and this comes down, just like that. And we're going to put a string on it to hold it. So I'm going to burnish this one to make it as flat as possible, like that. So I'm going to grab some string or some ribbon. Now, I didn't have any leftover string for this, so let me see. I think I'll take some of this blue ribbon that came with the collection, with my kit, I mean. Cut off a piece of it. And I'm going to tape it to the back. I don't want to use magnets on this part here. Take this to the back, bring this around, and we're just going to kind of like tighten a little bow. Just like that. So I'll finish up the ends of it, trim it or whatever. Then we take the album pages and we'll find where we want to put it. That's kind of cute on that flap right there. So now we put the glue on the back side. And this is just a fun way to use up some of the scraps. Make a little envelope to go in our little album. I'll kind of bring it up from the bottom. There we go. Furnish that in. So that unties and we have a little inside pocket, and we have a flap down. Now if you wanted to, I could have just glued the sides and the bottom. I could have made this an actual pocket and that would have been cute too. Okay, so now we still have some leftover card-based pieces that would make cute pockets. Let's make some pockets with this. Let's do a short one here. I think I'm going to do a flat pocket right here. So I want this to be, this is going to be a tuck spot. So this is like 3.5. So let's cut this at 3.5. This short one, so it's only about 1.5 inches tall. So 3.5 is the width of this piece that we have left. And it's going to come over here, and I'm going to put it, now the glue is going to go just on the 2 short sides and 1 long side here. And again, this is just a straight pocket, and I'm just going to put it down here at the bottom, and then I'll find some pattern paper that I want to use with that. I was thinking this piece here would work almost. That's cut from this green. I may have some more. If I'd made that pocket a little shorter, you know what, I'm going to piece it. I'm going to put that right there. It was already cut to fit. Put that right there. Okay, then I need a little strip down here on the bottom. I can use some of the green here. I'm just going to cut a very narrow little strip there. And that's going to glue right in here. Yeah, I like that. So it's like only not even 1/4 inch barely. Get glue all over my fingers here. Okay. And then fit that in. So use up your scraps for even your decorating and on your pockets. So that's really cute like that. So we have a pocket, flat pocket here. We have this pocket opens up. Now I will probably add something to this to kind of decorate that a little bit. Okay, so that's the back. Everything's kind of, there we go. So that's inside there. So now we still have this piece here. We can make probably a couple of pockets maybe. Don't know if we have any enough to make a wide can make a flat pocket. I'm going to cut this in half. This measures 3.5. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to cut it down to about 2.25 here. No, that needs to be bigger than that. Put it at 2. So one's going to be shorter than the other. So that's going to be flat pockets there. And I'm going to put one here in the blue. So I need to trim this down. So that's 4 inches. Let's make this about 4. See how that looks. Yep, that'll work. So I'm going to put glue on the 2 short ends, across one long end side, and across the other short end, and that's going to be a flat pocket right there. And then I just need to find my paper that I want to pattern it with. So I'll do that in a bit with my decorating, and we have this one last one. Let's see where we can put it. There, here, flap. It has that. Don't want it there. I'm going to make it a short one, like over here on this flap. So I need to cut it down. I'm going to make it about 3.25. I'm going to make it a shorter one. Okay. And then we're going to fit that right there. Again, your glue on your one long side. And so this is the last little pocket made out of the card bases. So we've used all the card bases from the card kit to create pages, flaps, and pockets for this little album. So we have 8 altogether. So there's that. So I'm going to grab some pattern paper, scraps, or what have you. Still have some of this. I have this on me. I haven't used anymore. I think I'm going to make a tag out of that. This one, kind of like the barn red with that. So let's see here. Or do I want it on this one? I like it for that one. So I want it to be, I'm going to cut it at 1 7/8. See how that goes. A little bit of a margin on there. See how that looks. Because that's got the blue on it. Now I'm going to put it on the smaller one over here. Because I just want the barn color. So that was 1.5. So cut that down to just a little under 1.5, 1 3/8. Yeah, and then the width is 3.25, thereabouts. So this glues onto this one. Yeah, I like that red barn wood there. So then I need to find something for this other one right quick. And like I said, I'm not going to keep you on camera watching while I do the pattern, and I'm not going to do it as a speeded up version on this one. What I will do glue in all my elements. I will show you real quick how to make tuck spots out of these elements, and then we're going to tuck spot out these elements so that you know how to do that. Scraps are getting really slim pickings here. That kind of works. So what was the length? And then I may have to put a piece, extra piece, about a 4-inch. Down on the bottom. So it's actually utilizing the border that's left over, the branding border. See it right there with the barcode. So I'm still going to use that. That gives me a little bit of a border here, like that. And so I need a little strip of paper, real narrow, across the top here. We've got that. That works. 4-inch. What did I say, about 4 inches? There we go. And that's going to glue right across the top of the pocket. To make tuck spots out of some of your little pieces from your kit, instead of gluing them completely down on your page, you're just going to want to put a little bit of glue like on the outer side and across the bottom. Kind of like in an L, like this barn. I put it on the bottom and across the bottom, the left side here. And then I just glue it down right here. That leaves it open. Just make sure it's on the page. But that leaves it open here and here for your photo or whatever you're going to put in here. Now I wanted to add this little flower here. I just think it's pretty. And of course I'm not going to glue it down on the leaf side. So you just put a little bit of glue where you want it attached to the piece that you just put down. So it leaves this part loose and this is attached down. So anything that you might stick in there all fits in there nicely. So that's how you do that. I did put the barn here on this chicken wire page. And then I have this little lamb I thought was really cute. So I'm going to put it here and show you. I am just going to attach, put glue on its little feet, and then maybe on this back leg just a little bit, okay, so that whatever I tuck in there won't fall out. So I'm going to stick this down so it's attached here and right here, so that all the rest of it is left open. And then we have like this little piece that says "You make my heart bleed," so that could go right in there. That's cute like that. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing now, is going through. Remember, I have my enamel dots. I have all these little pieces from the kit. I'm going to do the cover. I may do that one with you on camera. I have a few pieces of paper here, like I can tuck in pockets. I think this will have to be trimmed down, but I like that where you've got the journaling there. So lots of fun things you can do. So go ahead and play with your project. Add in tuck spots and decorate your little pockets. Oh, I did find a piece here that I could cut down to cover that, so I like that a lot better. So I notched it so it matches all that, so that pocket's like that. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to keep working on this, and then I'll be back to show you exactly what all I did. I finished adding decorations to all my pages, and I will be showing you what I've done in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead. Once you have it ready, I'm going to show you how to put it into your cover, okay? So we have this piece back here that's nice and flat where we added the extra support, and it's about what did I say, 1.5 inches? Yeah, 1.5 inches wide, a little under maybe. And so our spine area, before I put my ruler up, is a little over 2. So we're going to have about 1/4 inch. Actually, it's about 3/8 of an inch on each side, front and back. And top to bottom, we should have about 1/4 inch. So I usually just eyeball it. Now you make sure if your pattern paper has a direction here on your cover or inside that you're not putting your pages in upside down. So I have to pay good attention to that. So now we're going to put it in with glue. And I want a good amount of glue here to really stick this in. So I'll put a line here, across the bottom, down the side, all the way across. Just get a good amount of glue. This will really hold it, okay? So we got the glue. Glue gives us a little time to move it around. Got the directions going correct. About 1/4 of an inch top and bottom, and about 3/8 inch on the side here. I'm going to take it and look and see. Okay, make sure it's straight. Wipe off any excess glue from my wiggling it around, so it will dry clear, which is good. Okay, it looks pretty good. I'm going to press it down and let it grab. I'm going to wipe off any excess glue that I see coming out. Make sure I'm pressing down. Make sure that that's glue's in there. Make sure it is straight. Bring up my cover. Take a look at it. Always end up with a little more space on the back, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close. Let's see. I think this needs to come down just a smidge if I can. Okay. It's pretty stuck. So now I'm going to open this up, and in those spaces, I'm going to burnish right in there, making sure those are all stuck down where those hinges were. And if excess glue comes out, you're just going to wipe that off because we used a lot of glue. It does kind of come out top and bottom. Last one. Okay, so now I'm going to let this dry. Close it up and let that dry, and then I'll decide what I want to do for the outside. So now we have our pages in, and you can see we have about 1/4 of an inch space on the ends here, top and bottom. So that's what I wanted. So that's the little pages are in the album. So now I'm ready to do my decorating and adding some ribbon to it. Once the pages are in and nice and dry, your hinges pages are in onto the spine, we're ready to do some work on finishing up this album. So I took about 48 inches each of the 48 inches of yellow and 48 inches of the blue ribbon, and I spritzed it with water, crinkled it up, and I've let it pretty much dry. Now I am not putting a closure on this one. What I'm going to do is in the middle, which is in between the second hinge, I'm going to wrap this around the center and bring it to the outside, and I'm just going to tie it here. Now if you want to add charms or things, you could do that. I'm just going to right now just tie this to make a decorative on the spine. Kind of tie it into a knot here at the top. So I'll probably have more ribbon on one side than I need actually need. And then I'm going to tie a bow. So I've tied it in a bow. So you've got the bow, and then I tied some extra piece of each ribbon up here that I had cut off the bottom to make it nice and thick. Of course, like I said, you could add charms if you wanted to. I'm going to leave mine with just a bow. Here on the back, I am going to put this little piece here from the card kit. This is so you can put a date or a name or on the back of your album. So I'm just going to glue that down right here on the bottom on the back. Just kind of center it. Okay, burnish it on. Okay, now let's flip it over and I'll do the front. So what I did is, I saved this piece here from the card kit. I'm going to build upon it first. This came this way. It's not layered. So it's one piece. And then I saved these sunflowers. And so I think I'm going to partially glue them on. So on the back, I'm going to put glue on the back left side. And I'm going to put glue on each bottom stem. And then some glue here. And let's see how that does. So I'm going to Put this right here, and I'm going to kind of bend it up a little bit so that it stands up, and just the ends, but not quite that much. Just kind of play with it. Now, if you don't want any dimension on your cover, well, that's fine. Just glue it down flat. But I thought it'd be kind of cute, like they're growing up and out. Then I have the chipboard piece of the chickens, and I'm going to glue them right there. So I'm gluing them down flat. I think this album is turning out really cute with this card kit. This is a really cute little card kit collection. Then I had the sun. I think if I can pick it up, I'm going to put it right back in here with a little bit of it sticking off the back. I think so, kind of like in here. Okay, like that. Then I had, this was cut off the bottom of a tag because I wanted a shorter tag, so I cut this off. It says, "You're extra special." And then I have this little piece here that I cut down to make a little sign out of it. So I'm going to fold it in half and glue it together because I don't need it that long. And then I'm going to glue it to the bottom of the sign. That. Okay. So that's going to glue right there. And I'm only going to glue the bottom of the little hole that I made and the bottom of the sign. Like that. Just kind of, and it's the top of the sign is kind of sticking up a little bit. Wipe some glue off here. Sorry about my bell ringing on the phone. It tells me that someone's outside. A little glue right there. Okay. Then I have a few little chickens. Little chicks. I'm going to glue one there. These are little chipboard guys. There. And a couple of teeny tiny ones. And just kind of randomly glue them in. Super cute collection. Okay. I had set aside some flowers, but I think that's plenty. Let's take our cover. And so this is just going to glue right here on the cover. So I'm going to put glue on the back of the sun a little bit and on this whole piece. Okay. And before I press it down, I'm going to center it some. It's about right. Straight on the bottom here. Go ahead and kind of burnish in. Get the sun down. I'm going to take my bone folder and push in here. Make sure everything is burnishing down. Okay. So that is it. Real quick, I'll show you the inside. I'll probably do a separate speeded up showcase album of it, but for this tutorial I'll show you this. So there's the front, the spine, and the back. I love how it turned out. This opens up, so you got the cover here. This I didn't put anything in. That's for a photo to slip in. So you'll see throughout that I used the enamel dots. This is a little pocket here. I did move this piece earlier. I had put it with the lamb, and then I realized, well, bleat goes with the goat. So you make my heart bleed. So that goes there with the goat and all that. There's a photo spot. I left this where you can tuck it under the photo. Another tuck spot here. So this is where I changed it. I really, really love you. Put that stuff in there that flips open. So for this one, in this pocket, I put a couple of pieces. I added some of the cut aparts here on some of the journaling cards. This flips open. I got one here that tucks behind the piggy. Okay, and then this way, I glued this circle piece here from the collection, the cow. These are chipboard pieces, utterly awesome. So this you can tuck a photo in behind there. And then I created this. You can tuck something behind this piece here. Got a tag in here. I arranged some of the canning jars of vegetables here. And again, you see that nearly every double page I use some of the enamel dots. That's where the ribbon is. There's a tuck spot with the tractor. Open this up. I got a tuck spot behind the asparagus. There's the barn. Flowers, chipboard flowers, tag behind the barn. Also a journaling card behind the barn to give it another pop of color. This pocket here has a journaling card that says Farm Fun, and then this is that tag that I cut off to make it a little shorter because I wanted to see the farm, word farm, and a little bit of the chicken peeking up. This one here, this pocket, I put the little chicken coop and a little tag booklet that I made out of a scrap. This circle. I just like lots of different size elements in here in this tag. I love this tag here. So this just tucks in like that. And then this piece here, here's the enamel dots. This just unties. And then I just took this chicken in and decorated it up. And it just lays there, and this little flap opens up. And then inside this little pocket here, we have some journaling places. So that closes up. Oh, I also tucked one here behind the flowers in the wheelbarrow. Whoops. Guess I got it glued in there. That's okay. There we go. Sometimes I put things in too soon. So I'll just tie it back up and slide that back underneath there. And then this flips open. I have behind a paper clip this little tuck spot. Leave those plain, and then this flips over. This is where the paper clip is, so this is tucked underneath there. And then of course the back side, I put this little circle from the collection, a couple of the flat back enamel dots. Open this down, and we have our little pattern paper waterfall for photos. And then the inside cover, I'm going to leave it plain, just like I did on the front for this one. So that's my little mini album made out of a card kit by Simple Stories called Just Chicken In. I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That way, if you'll click the bell, you'll be notified of my next video that I upload. And also shop at countrycraftcreations.com for your scrapbooking supplies. I'll link the products that I used in this tutorial, do the direct links in the description below my video. You'll have to click on more to see everything underneath that. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.